Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Ember Blade. This is written by Chris Wooding. This is a epic fantasy adventure. Aaron is our main male lead. He lives a relatively perfect life. He has a secret girlfriend who is kind of like the princess of the village, and his dad has money and actually has some kind of standing in the village, which is pretty impressive considering that their village is now part of the Croden territory. He has a best friend, Cade, and they've been friends for many years. They go on their own little kind of adventures and they try to find monsters or creatures in the woods because they want to get the heads or a trophy from the monster to bring back to the village to either impress his girlfriend or to impress fellow villagers. But one day when Aaron is told to go home because something is going on with his dad, he ends up getting into a very bad situation where not only does he get arrested, but his best friend Cade also gets arrested, and they get taken to a prison camp where they have to mine every day, all day. Now, originally, Aaron isn't liked by many people because he has had a softer, more cushiony life compared to Cade. Aaron very much thinks that the Croden Empire or the Croden government will figure out that he is innocent and that him and Cade will be let go, whereas Cade, who is really a bright and bubbly kind of personality, he doesn't like the Croden Empire. He doesn't like the fact that they took over their country, and slowly Cade starts to go downhill, and he gets more and more depressed the longer they're in the prison camp, and he just gets to that point where he's basically a soulless pick swinger, and he doesn't see the light at the end of the tunnel anymore. Even though Aaron is young, he has some tricks up his sleeve. He is very smart because his father was one of the more well-off people in the village. He had tutors, so he is quite clever, and he gets a plan going for him and Cade to escape. Now, in this process, he ends up having to make an agreement with Grub, and Grub is a grumpy, hostile, tattooed warrior from a land far away. While they are making their grand escape, they end up running into the Hollow Man. The Hollow Man is somebody that Aaron's dad told him that if he ever runs into the Hollow Man, he has to turn and run the other way. But for some reason, the Hollow Man is there to rescue him from the prison camp, which it explains later on, and I don't want to get into that because I don't want to ruin it for anybody who's going to read it. After they escape the mining camp, Aaron, Cade, and Grub decide to join the Hollow Man and his crew of people because they are on a quest to steal the Ember Blade from the Croden Empire. The Ember Blade is basically a symbol for Aaron and Cade's people and the Hollow Man's people. It's a symbol of rebellion and power. So if they can steal and take back the Ember Blade, they believe their countrymen will rally and fight back against the Croden once more. There are in this book different classes. Like the Croden is like the top tier. Once they come and invade the other countries, it's basically like you simulate or you die. So Crodens are at the top. People who assimilate are like below them, and I'm saying like below them here, but really Crodens treat anybody who's not a Croden like bottom of the barrel, just not really nicely. So even people who turn against their fellow countrymen to join the Croden sides, they're like barely better than somebody who didn't assimilate, right? There is murder and suicide in this book as well, just to keep in mind if that's not something you enjoy reading about. After they got out of the mining camp, I did feel like there was a lot of similarities between this book and Lord of the Rings, and I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, no, there's not. Well, There's a band of people who are on this epic quest to obtain this item, and there's one witch, wizard, sorceress person out of the whole group. There's one person who's really good with a bow. There's the two younger kids, Aaron and Cade. There's Grub, who would be more like a dwarf, because I thought he was really big until later on he's kind of described as more short and stocky. And you know, there's other people in the group that go along with them. They're being chased by 3 people who are humanoids that wear black attire and have really messed up faces. They go into a giant underground city where a mysterious creature from another dimension type deal is chasing them, and that's just a couple. So it's not a bad book. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It was just, to me, I found it kind of comical that after a certain point I could see all these similarities, and so could my reading buddy Wade. We were just like, that seems familiar. Yeah, it does seem familiar. But again, there's nothing wrong with the book. I'm just saying there's similarities in there. One thing I do like about the book is the number of people who die, sacrifice themselves. To me, I personally think that a book is better, or it feels like it has more depth, that there's more on the line when people are actually dying. If everybody lives until the end, yeah, I mean, most people want a happy ever after or happy ending, but it's more meaningful. There's more strife, there's more turmoil, I think, if people die. I know that sounds terrible. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry. It's a personal opinion. You do get multiple different point of views too. You get Cade's point of view, Aaron's point of view, the Hollow Man's point of view, Grub's point of view. You get a point of view from the witch, and you get some from the archer female as well. I'm pretty sure you do, if I remember correctly. There's a little bit in there. You also get some point of views from Croden workers, which I thought was kind of cool too, that you get like a couple chapters from a Croden who is just like trying to do his job and do what's best for the Croden Empire. You know, I feel like my favorite character was Grub, and he does kind of come off as a jerk in a way, and he is really mean. He's like a bully in the mining camp to Aaron and Cade to a certain degree, but I actually like how Grub talks about himself in third person, and he's really funny. Like, he says some really funny stuff, so I would definitely say Grub is my favorite, followed by Cade. I really liked how Cade was a natural born storyteller. He keeps people's spirits high. For the most part, he's a really positive person. And then after that is Aaron, who is our main male lead. But it is nice that Aaron has growth in the first book. And not only that, there is a moment where there is some back and forth whether or not what he is doing is the right thing, whose side should he really be on. And I think that kind of speaks volume in and of itself, is because most, not all, most people are not necessarily black and white. There's a lot of internal conflict and dialogue, like, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right choice? Should I not do this? Should I go with these people? Should I not go with these people? Should we just go back home and live a happy life? So Aaron's inner turmoil and how he works through it, I think, is pretty realistic, all things considered, in the grand scheme of things. And I really liked that part about Aaron, but still, Grub's my favorite character. I did like the book. I would recommend it if you are into epic fantasy adventures. It is a long read. I think the audiobook was 30 hours long. I know the book itself is like 800 pages, so it's a decent size. So you're gonna be reading it for a minute. Really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.